All right, we are live and we are back with another episode. And our guest here, he's probably one of the biggest FIFA content creator guests that we've had so far. And we really appreciate him being here. Obviously, you guys know him as Buckarmy, and he also has his own podcast called 40 Before Noon. And we just appreciate him being here. How you doing, Buck?
Doing good, man. Maybe one of the biggest before I went to Facebook, but I don't know about anymore.
I see, I see. So, I mean, when was it that you're on Facebook? How long ago
Went to
was that?
like October 2 years ago, I think. Maybe it might have been even 2020. I can't remember at this point. The whole
Okay.
thing was basically a blur, man. It's about as fun as it kind of sounded.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, no, we did our 2 years there and we're back on Twitch and I don't know, it's a hell of a lot more fun now.
Got it. What was the reason for going to Facebook and also coming back?
The main reason, I mean, obviously, I think everybody kind of would assume is money was like one of the big things. But also at that time, I knew that there's a bunch of streamers that were about to sign Twitch contracts, so they would have to stream like a crap load more hours than they used to.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I knew which meant they were going to bleed into my time slot. So I was like, you know what, screw it. Like, I don't really want to have to compete with all these people anymore when I know I can get probably like 3x what I was making already. So
Mm-hmm.
it was one of those things where I guess just a little bit of security, because I mean, you know it now too. The internet doesn't provide any security whatsoever in terms of like a 401k or a retirement plan or
Right,
anything like
right.
that. So
Yeah,
it was almost like just trying to get my life set up a little bit by doing that for 2 years.
for sure. Yeah. And how has it been coming back to Twitch and how long has it been since
It's
then?
been, I think we've been back for like 7 or 8 months at this point, man.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's been fun. Obviously, I think it's going to be an uphill battle for a while, which I mean is obviously expected whenever you leave somewhere for 2 years. But
Yeah.
I guess what's nice is Facebook kind of gave that cushion to where even if it is an uphill battle for the next like 2 or 3 years, like we're kind of like fine. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
that's how I kind of looked at the long term plan of it.
Got it. And
What
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what? How long have you been on Twitch, man? That's why I was gonna be my question.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've been on here for like 3 years now.
Okay,
Yeah.
what got you
So,
going with it?
man, I think me and a lot of like the other streamers that I know, there's a lot of people that started during the pandemic.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So I started around like June of 2020.
Okay, so
Um
probably like the height of it almost. Then yeah,
yeah, when all the lockdowns were going on. And
yeah.
so yeah, I wasn't working at the time. And so I had a lot of time in my hands, so I thought, "Hey, why not give streaming a shot?" I was
Is it
playing a
something
lot of
that
yeah.
I was gonna say? Is it something that you wanted to do for quite some time, and then finally, almost the pandemic opened up that opportunity for you, or what?
No, not at all. I wasn't like really into Twitch at all. Like
Okay.
I was just playing a lot of FIFA and I just figured like if I'm gonna play this much FIFA, why not do some streaming along with it? So when I got into it, it was like I didn't really know what I was getting into, to be honest.
Do you like it now?
I
If you've
do
been
like
around for
it.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah, if
How
I've
does
been
it?
around, if I've been around this long, obviously I still enjoy it. And it's also allowed me to do like podcasts too, which I also enjoy doing. So
No,
like,
yeah.
my podcast, I usually have like other FIFA content creators and just talk with them and just like, just chop it up really.
Hell yeah, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It is crazy. I didn't even. Obviously, we kind of all saw it back then. I didn't see it, I guess, as much because I was on Facebook. But there
Hmm.
was just like there were so many damn people that came into streaming during that time, and I
Yeah.
know like even like the PC chips and stuff were hard to get back then too. So I know that was like a big struggle as well with a lot of people to even get it going. But
Uh-huh.
no, it is. It's really cool, and it seems like TikTok has blown so many of these people up as well, and they're almost like the biggest streamers on the platform now, which is crazy.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like at that point you're already established. So like when the pandemic happened, like was there a huge boost in that?
Yeah, no, it was definitely one of those things where I guess there was multiple ways that I looked at it. Was I guess number one was the fact that um you knew everybody was going to be home. So it was like, okay, cool, like viewership probably will go up, and it seemed like it was one of those jobs that actually thrived, I guess, during I don't want to say thrive because obviously I know people lost their lives and stuff during the pandemic, but
Yeah.
obviously some industries were hurt really badly with layoffs and everything like that. But streaming it, like you said, I guess if you were established at that point in time, it did kind of work out for everybody just because they were home and stuff. But yeah, I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know if I lose viewership because so many people were going to be trying to, scrape to go find a new job or, start working crazy different hours and stuff. But it kind of, yeah, it worked out, I guess, I think for most people. And I
Hmm.
think people also just enjoyed kind of being home during that time as well. And
Yeah.
they got to start, their passion projects and just hang out with their family. I think some people maybe by the end of it were a little sick and tired of their family, but
Right.
at the beginning, I'm sure they were happy about it.
Yeah. So, I mean, luckily for you, like you're already content creating, so a lot of your work you could have, you just stayed home and could have streamed and done other things, right?
Yeah, no, that's what it was. I think there was a little bit of a tough balance with it too, though, because Arizona, I think, was one of like the weakest places for the lockdown in terms of like their rules and stuff like that. So
Okay.
everybody was home and everybody just wanted to hang out and drink and, do whatever. So I think there was trying to find that healthy balance of like making sure you stayed on a schedule and kind of seeing everybody at the same time too. Because I know if you're in California, man, it's got your lockdown was significantly crazier than ours was, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty strict.
Yeah, over
Yeah.
here it felt like the Wild West the entire time. Everybody was golfing. Nobody really it was
Okay.
weird, man. I guess it is weird to think of how different it was from one place to another as well. But yeah, overall, it was I guess it worked out in terms of streaming everything too, and that's how I kind of lateraled everything as well because I signed the deal. I think actually it might have been before COVID to be honest, but
Hmm.
um, I don't know. I just tried to play the game of just get as many viewers as I could at that time, and then I guess just negotiate as high as I possibly could for Facebook, and that was kind of that.
Hmm. Got it.
Yeah.
How was the pandemic for you, just in general? I mean, looking
I don't
back
it
like
was
3 years.
it was fine because I think I had a girlfriend at the time, so
Okay.
it wasn't like a completely lonely thing that I know a lot of people did go through, and that sucks. I also had M-Bone. I don't know if you remember who M-Bone is, but he was we started like a streamer house together like 6 years ago, so he still lived here at that time as well. So we had each other, and then once again, it kinda just freed you up whenever you wanted to go work, you just kinda work, and that was that. So it wasn't too bad at all for us over here.
Hmm. Got
How
it.
was it for you?
Well, there was a lot of streaming, and at the time, I was just trying to figure out what I want to do next with my life. So I was
Yeah.
just studying for like my realtor license.
Okay.
Yeah, I was studying for that, and then eventually I got into real estate a little bit. But now I'm doing like different jobs other than the real estate. So yeah, I'm actually really busy these days.
Oh, Jesus, man. It's good
Yeah.
to be busy though at the same time.
It is. It is. I just don't want to overwork myself where I get too burnt out. So I'm just trying to manage through it.
Yeah, I was gonna say the burnout thing happens, I think, for everybody. And
Hmm.
I think even I guess just because we were talking about the Facebook stuff earlier, a lot of the streamers that go to Facebook end up just like not streaming afterwards because they're so over it. Just because like I mean, sounds super lame, but I guess to people that work a normal job, but it's 160 hours a month that you have to sit there. And the whole kind of rule was if you didn't do your 160 hours, you weren't paid. Is like it was just like kind of like an all or nothing thing. There was no sick time, there was no vacation time, there was nothing. So it was 2 years of 160 hours a month, and that was that, which
Hmm.
you think wouldn't be that bad. But when there's only two people in the chat, or like sometimes zero people in the chat, and you're just sitting there talking to yourself for 6 hours, you're like, oh my God, like this is horrendous. You know what I mean? It kind of kills your love for video games. And I
Right.
think the burnout for sure happens at that point too.
Jeez, 160 hours. So that's like a
Full
full
time,
time
yeah.
work,
Full time
and
job.
that's all across the board for all streamers.
For no, I think some people got 80 hours, but
Okay.
obviously if you took the 160, I think you got the 2-year deal. And if you took the 80, you got like a 1-year deal. And I don't think any of
Oh,
the
I
1-year
see.
people they re-signed afterwards. So I think people took the 2 years just to guarantee they could be there for 2 years. And like it's the only way it would have shut down is if like Facebook gaming as a whole kind of took a crap.
Uh huh.
But they pretty much didn't re-sign anybody, I think, for anything anymore. So got out at the perfect time. I guess it was like a month after I think all of our contracts expired basically. So it kind of worked out.
Got it. And how was
Yeah.
your own personal experience with Facebook streaming?
Dude, it was they promised I guess a lot of things at the beginning. I don't want to like crap on them too hard because,
Yeah.
made my life significantly easier than it should have been, you know? But I'd say for like the first year of it, tried super, super, super hard to like, stick with strictly FIFA. But playing FIFA for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week is gnarly. And I wouldn't put that on anybody to ever have to do that. But
Hmm.
uh, after the first year, you kind of realize that the platform, I guess, wasn't in like a great position to grow, or like for streamers to grow. There are certain games that did well, like Grand Theft Auto did really good on there, and like PUBG Mobile was like one of their best games on there as well, which is like such a random game to have on there. So I guess after the first year, I was like, you know what, screw it, we're just gonna play video games with friends every day, and that's it. And then
Hmm.
just kind of when it's over, it's over. So a lot of Fortnite, a lot of Fall Guys, pretty much anything to just kind of keep us entertained for a few hours at a time is what it was.
Hmm. Got it.
Yeah.
And then how is Facebook streaming now? Do you know? Do
Dude,
you know?
I literally haven't logged back in since I left, dude. I put out a post that said, "Hey guys, we're out." And I swear, I think out of all the FIFA people that went over there, I think there's one guy that's left. I think it's Brandon Smith, if you know who he
Okay.
is. I think
Okay.
he might be the last one because he was like Mr. Facebook while we were there. He kicked ass. He did really, really well.
Hmm.
Um, so I want to say it's just him. And then everybody else either kind of stopped streaming or went back to Twitch.
Got it. Yeah, because I've kind of wondered like how does Facebook streaming compare to like Twitch? Like,
It's not. I would say I would go on any other platform first, I guess, if that makes sense. Just because discoverability made no sense over there. They said they would recommend your streams. Nobody's streams really ever got pushed whatsoever.
hmm.
It would just be like a bunch of grandmas that would come into my stream, like as if it was like as if I was just like a video, is what they thought it was. They didn't realize it was live. And the grandma would come in there and be like, "Stop, stop, stop," in all capitals. And I'm like, dude, this isn't like a stop to reply thing. I'm like, you moron. But then I'd start chirping them a little bit. I'm like, "Come on, Geraldine, give us a follow," you know? And they just it was terrible. So yeah, I had no idea where they were pushing the streams to whatsoever. It just never seemed like it really benefited anybody was the problem.
Mm,
But
I see.
yeah, it was that. Just
Yeah, that's
ridiculous,
very interesting.
honestly.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Got it.
I'd go for the kick or I don't even know if you can even stream FIFA on Rumble or what even Rumble is now. Have you looked into that at all?
Is that a streaming site? Isn't
The
that
Rumble
like,
thing.
well, isn't that like a YouTube alternative?
I thought they could stream on there too, could
You
they
can
not?
stream on there too? Okay. I didn't know that.
I
Yeah.
saw yesterday that Rice Gum, because just like he did like a whole like, when you're in high school and you have all the hats in front of you of which college you're going to go to. He
Yeah.
had a bunch of like really crappy hats with like a piece of paper on them with each website.
Uh-huh.
And he said he's returning to full-time streaming. He went to Rumble. So I
Okay.
assume you can. Who knows, honestly. I'm sure he got paid a crap load of money to go there, but
Well,
yeah.
I'm aware of like a lot of big influencers went to Rumble due to like they didn't like the YouTube censorship and all that.
Yeah, I could see that. Like the
Yeah.
Steve will do it and like the Nelk guys and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. So
Especially because their content doesn't really fit YouTube standards, I would say.
yeah. So I guess Rumble is like you could do more things on there. You could say a lot of things. I don't know. Less less
I think I've
censorship.
watched one video on there ever, and it was a Steve will do it video, and
Okay.
it definitely I don't think would have fit the YouTube, criteria levels or whatever.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
For sure. So, where did this streaming journey start for you, or
dude,
even with FIFA? Yeah.
it was a long time ago. I want to say it was probably like it might even been like 8 or 9 years ago now, honestly. But uh, we used to just play FIFA all the time, and
Hmm.
we always just played video games in my brother's room, and he had this big futon in the back where
Yeah.
everybody would sit and just watch and laugh if somebody was losing, basically. So we one day, I guess like two of my buddies came in there and they're like, "Yo, have you heard of this website called Twitch?" I'm like, "No," because we used to make YouTube videos and stuff just for fun back in the day. But um, they said like, "We think you'd be awesome on it because either you make us laugh. I'm sure you can make other idiots laugh." And I'm like, "Okay, fair enough, man." So started doing that, but I didn't know how to get, I guess, the gameplay on there at first, like the FIFA gameplay. So I started streaming RuneScape. That was like my first ever game. I don't know if you've ever played that game growing up. It's kind of like a World of Warcraft type thing.
Hmm.
It's like one of
Yeah.
those. So started streaming RuneScape. Didn't even know how to use like a web camera at that point either. And then went to college and kind of figured out everything I needed for the FIFA stuff because the school I went to, only had like 750 people there. So there's pretty much nothing to do aside from like play sports. So got my brother's laptop and probably like the shittiest put together stream in the entire world, but that's what we did. I held like little tournaments for like the 10 people that were in the stream. And then it was back in the day where you could do the like the coin transfer stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd be like wagering 100,000 coins and I'd let people come in and buy into it and we play against each other for like coins and stuff. And that's how it all started way, way, way back when.
Man, what
So
FIFA was that when you were
couldn't
doing
tell
that?
you. It's probably 14 or 30. I
Wow. Okay.
legit have no idea. Yeah, no, it's been around for it might have been 15. Who knows, honestly, at this point. Whenever they banned coin selling, I don't know if you remember that year, but that was like it was the year after I first started, is what it
Okay.
was.
Got
Yeah.
it. I got into FIFA in 20. So it was like during that pandemic year.
Oh, so you're still at like the honeymoon phase of the game. You still probably enjoy it.
It's
Yeah.
okay. I enjoy the streaming aspect more, just hanging out with people more so than the game itself.
Have you gotten to the point where you almost like you can't play video games by yourself now because it's not any fun to kind of play by yourself anymore? You like almost have to be streaming.
Sometimes I play by myself. I do play FIFA like just to grind on like
Okay.
some objectives and stuff, but that's like it seems like I'm doing it like out of habit. Like there's like a
For,
necessity for me to like get some things done in FIFA, like.
like off stream basically
Yeah,
or
off stream, yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. I mean, you're probably at the end of the day, you're probably doing it for the stream so they don't have to watch whatever it is at that point too, whether it's like squad battles or something like that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
feel that. Yeah, no, I feel like I ran into that issue early on just because, like you said, the whole interacting part and having people in the stream to hang out with, the thing is the most fun part. So unless I'm on somebody else's stream at this point, like I refuse to play video games off stream.
I see.
Just
Got
like
it.
once again for like the burnout kind of thing
Yeah.
as well. Where if I sit down and play like 3 hours of FUT Champions, there's not a shot in hell I'm gonna go live that night and go play more FUT Champions, you know?
Right, right.
So yeah, so that's one of the things we ran into. But um aside from that, I'll hop on other streams and play if I'm ever asked to, whether it's Fortnite or something. Something I think I'm not gonna be absolute like dog crap at.
Got
So I
it.
don't make a fool of myself. Yeah.
Okay.
Is there
hmm
I was just saying, is there any other games you play aside from FIFA?
Well, I did play a little bit of Fall Guys in the past, a little bit of Warzone, but these days,
Okay.
like, I'm so busy, I only have time for FIFA. That's all I play.
Jeez, okay. No, that
Yeah,
makes sense then.
and I usually play it on stream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the way to do it.
yeah.
Dang,
Um,
man.
yeah. At this point of FIFA, I mean, how do you feel? Does it feel dead to you? I'm sure it feels dead to a lot of people, but
Yeah, I don't know. I'm basically just trying to do a bunch of things on stream now to keep myself entertained, just because
uh-huh.
it does kind of feel like, I guess, like as more and more as the years have gone on, where people care when content comes out at, I think 10 o'clock for both of us is what it would probably be.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 30 minutes, nobody gives a crap anymore, unless weekend league is going on or something's going on. So yeah, I think at this point it does feel a little dead to me. And this, I don't know, I've kind of been through this cycle a million times now where
Yeah.
during the summer you have to find other games that keep you somewhat entertained. You obviously want to be in a game where I think you can grow and have success as well. But I mean, none of us are going to go turn to be a Fortnite pro tomorrow, or anything like that. So I think I'm gonna start leaning more towards on like Grand Theft Auto role play. I don't know if you've ever done any of that.
I
So much
haven't.
fun,
No.
bro. It
Okay.
is so much fun because all you do is just go in there and it's just all like improv. People come up to you and start talking crap, and you just talk crap back to them. And the
Mm-hmm.
whole point is just to make people laugh and just kind of
Yeah.
put on a show. So I think that's where we're start leaning towards, just because waking up at 6:30 a.m. to play division rivals isn't really doing it for me anymore, unfortunately.
For sure. Yeah. I saw you in your recent streams, streaming Only Up. Is that like the trendy game right now?
Yeah, it was the trendy game for a bit. So I don't know how many people are still really playing it because everybody kind of said that game would only have a shelf life of like a week. And I guess for anybody who is listening right now that doesn't know what that game is, it is the most painful game in the entire world because you can sit there and I guess the whole point of it is you start in the ground and you just keep climbing up and climbing up and climbing up through all these like jumps and twists and turns and all this crap. But the second you fall, you could literally just ruin 2 hours of work. There's no save button. There's no checkpoint. There's nothing. So yeah, no, we've wasted a lot of time on that game. We finally beat it, thank God. So I never have to look at it ever again.
Hmm.
But apparently they're coming out with a new map, so I maybe we have to go back to it at some point. Just awful. Have you not given it a go?
No, I haven't.
Rush, stay away from it, man. It
Okay.
sucks. It's
Okay.
awful.
I wasn't planning
Especially
on getting it.
and so the thing was it
Yeah.
was only $10. So I was like, you
Okay.
know what? Even if this lasts like 3 streams, it'll be worth it, I think. But yeah, no, it's the second you start getting like a little bit up there, this viewership just keeps coming in and coming in and coming in. But now you got all these people speed run it and like whatever, like 31 minutes. I'm like, dude, it took me 4 hours. I'm like, I'm not doing this crap again. There's no way.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I think every video game's almost become too competitive now. Like there has to be someone who's the best at it. I don't know if you've would agree with that or not.
Yeah, it seems so. Seems like, yeah, you do have to. Everybody's trying to win at something.
They're all sweaty, man, and they
Yeah.
find all these glitches, and it's just like, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, for sure. So do you think you'll stream FIFA till the end? Till
I think
EAFC
so.
comes out?
Yeah, I think so. Once again, I'm just trying to make like little games every morning. So like today, my whole thing was I'm gonna try to qualify for FUT Champions, but I can't shoot the ball once. So every goal had to be me dribbling past the goalkeeper or dribbling it in.
Okay.
So little things like that can like somewhat keep me entertained and keep everybody
Yeah.
entertained where we make up our own games. So yeah, I think the whole point of like the streams in the morning now are just gonna be like to try to record YouTube videos. Because what I've kind of noticed over the years is people will watch YouTube videos as like stream numbers die. YouTube videos like pretty much stay the same as long as you're being creative with all of it. So
I see.
that's where I'm trying to put a bunch of effort towards right now. But like tonight, I'll probably go play Grand Theft Auto or something and just kind of
Hmm.
have fun and see how it does.
Got it. What do you usually get in weekend league? Like, what's your best?
14, like, dude, I only play with like 3 hours left. It's like my whole thing
Oh, okay.
is we had this thing forever. It's called the Sunday Scramble where I would basically refuse to play or I'd like take days off on the weekend and then I'd log in with like 3 hours left and it's just see how many wins we can get.
Uh-huh.
So with like 2.5 hours left the other night, we got to 16, which was I was over the moon about. I'm like, that's cool, you know.
Hmm.
It's usually like 14 wins though, because everybody's just quitting out of games at that point.
Yeah.
So, what about you? What are you hitting?
Usually like 14.
I feel like that's like a casual, you know, like I'm good enough at the game without, you know, sweating way too hard to the point where I'm not looking at the chat anymore, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I think there needs to be that balance of it because there's so many streams I go into where you're like, I'm 360 and 0. And it's like they don't even know that the chat exists. I'm like, what are we doing here, fellas?
Hmm.
But people watch it. People, because I think a lot of people just want to know how to get better at games too.
Sure.
And
Right.
those are obviously the people you're going to watch.
Right. Are
Yeah.
you keeping up with the E World Cup for FIFA?
Nah, I'm gonna be honest, no. Which I probably shouldn't say that because I'm technically a FIFA E squad member. I got invited into that program.
Okay.
So like last year they sent us out to the FIFA E World Cup in Denmark, which was really fun. It was like a 4 or 5 day thing that we were there for.
Hmm.
And they put us up in like in a good hotel and we basically just had to go do I had to do like one like panel where like a bunch of like businesses came in and they're like would just ask us questions. It was me, Chew Boy, which I assume you know who Chew Boy is, and then
Hmm.
some random dude from Twitter. I had no idea who the Twitter guy was, but I sound like an asshole not remember his name either. But it is what it is, man. But yeah, no, we did one panel and that was basically it. And they're like, yeah, just go around, enjoy the event. And I think we did like one thing actually as well where I got to go play golden goal against like all the kids that showed up to go watch the final. So but yeah, this one's it's in like Saudi Arabia, isn't it?
Oh, is it? I
Yeah, I
don't know. I
swear.
have no idea.
Dude, because I got the email from FIFA E and they're like,
Okay.
hey, we would love to have you out here again. But um I didn't know if I really wanted to go to Saudi Arabia. I'll be brutally honest, man. It's a crazy long flight. I'm sure it's beautiful. I'm sure like it's really, really cool. But it was like I think it was only for like 4 days. And I can't really sit in a plane for 18 hours to only go somewhere for 4 days, you know, like
Hmm.
back and forth. But yeah. Do you pay attention to the pro thing, like the pro scene?
Little bit. Like I've been watching some NA pros and watching like the qualifiers and all that. So it's
Who
pretty interesting to watch. I mean,
who are
like
your guys that you root for?
that I root for. Well, one of my mods competed in the FGS. He didn't make it to the second round, but he qualified for every single stage. I think there's like 4 qualifiers.
Is that where you qualify through like the division rivals, like points and stuff?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah. And so there's like I think it's like a Swiss elimination the first day, and
Yeah.
then if you make it out of that, then it's like single elimination.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I was gonna
then
say, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, based on your results, I guess you rack up points, and if you're at the top of the list, then you go to the World Cup.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude, there's a few guys in my stream that do it as well, where they qualify, but they get into those tournaments, man, and they say it's the worst connection in the entire world. Like you could be
Wow.
somebody like one of my buddies in Seattle be like, dude, I'm playing a kid in Mexico. He goes, like, my players can't move. He's like, what the hell are
Hmm.
we doing?
Yeah.
So they always say that's like one of the big struggles, I think, with those qualifiers.
Right.
But at the same time, it's the same dudes that qualify every time. So it's, some people have to have figured it out at this point.
Yeah. Well, you
So
do home and away, so it's like
you have your chance to beat the crap out of them one game and hope you can
yeah,
just hold on for the next. Yeah.
exactly.
No, that
So
makes sense.
yeah.
We yeah, no, because I did the pro scene for like 2 years.
Hmm.
Back in whenever it was before the pan. I was probably like 19 and 20. I was like the Colorado Rapids pro player, but it was dude, such a loose term of pro player. I was not a pro by any stretch of the imagination at all. But the MLS stuff, it was fun. It was cool. It wasn't fun getting the crap kicked out of me at every single tournament, but it was a good time. But those guys take it mad serious. They take it crazy, crazy serious. You wouldn't ever expect that.
What FIFA were you in the pro scene? Like
Bro,
you're actually
I'm gonna have to go look this up to be honest. I think it was 19, man. I'm not. I
Okay.
think it was FIFA 19 and maybe FIFA 20. Yeah, it was probably 19 and 20. Because the first season that they did the pro scene with like the MLS, there was only one tournament. It was the PAX East event that
Hmm.
goes on in Boston. So we went and played one tournament there, and that was it. It was just like EMLS Cup, winner gets $10,000, whatever. The next year is when they did 3 different events. So we had like fuck, I can't remember the name of it to be honest. League Series 1 is what the name. It was like League Series 1 and 2. So we had one in LA, one in Dallas, and then the big tournament again was in Boston. So
Hmm.
the the best part was, man, which once again, it's been so many years they won't care anymore. I just went and drank the entire time. I just had fun. I just like I went out. I'm like, yeah, I was like, dude, I'm not winning. And like one of the best things that was ever said to me is my buddy Pistol Pete. He was there with me at one of them, and he's like, Buck, come on, we got to go out, like because there was big names that we're gonna go out with, that we could
Hmm.
potentially collab with in the future. And he goes, I'm like, Pete, I probably shouldn't be drinking tonight. We have the tournament tomorrow. He goes, dude, he goes, if you don't drink, are you gonna win? I go, no. He goes, come on. So we got the hell out there. We just went. Dude. So that was that. But yeah, no, it was fun. Those events were fun. The EMLS All-Star games were like my favorite thing in the world because it was a 2v2 like celebrity tournament where they'd bring
Uh-huh.
in a bunch of people.
Yeah.
So first year I like Waka Flocka was my teammate for it. I don't know how they somehow pulled that off.
Wow.
But
Okay.
yeah, it was me and Waka Flocka first year. And then the next year it was Jeremy from the F2 Freestylers. If you know who those guys are, they're like
Oh
the
yeah.
huge
Uh-huh.
soccer. Yeah, yeah. So it was me and him the next year. And those are the most fun because they didn't care if you drank at those things either. You just go out and have fun. And they usually provided you with a bunch of stuff too, which is cool.
Yeah, it seems like over the years, like you've had a collab with a lot of big names. Like who are like some of the biggest names that you've done collabs with?
I don't even know if it would say collabs, but I've talked about in the stream. I think I've met damn near everybody at this point, just because I've been around for so long, is what it would be. The first event that I ever went to, which is wild to think, um, was I did like a 6-a-side soccer game against the Sidemen. That was like my very first event ever. So it was Twitch versus the Sidemen. The ones that were there were like it was Simon, Toby, Vic, and Bazinga were like the four that we played against, and then Bateson was in the net for them. But that
Hmm.
was, I think, my very first experience with meeting, I guess, people in the space. Uh, we went to Vegas with Castro and Bateson a few years ago. We all just went there just to go hang out and I guess just gamble and drink or whatever. Um, Everybody else, though, I mean, because I think once you become an EA game changer, they have those big capture events that go on. And that's where you kind of just meet everybody. So you just meet all the people that don't sell coins. That's what it is. But and then I guess like this past month, I met Danny Aaron's because I went to go play in that charity match with him that he got me into. So
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah, so I think the only people I haven't met are like Run the Foot Market, which is crazy because I've known him forever now too.
Uh-huh.
Nick 28T and I think Nepenthes, and those are like the big three, I guess, because I would have never seen them at like an EA event or anything like that.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. What is the EA game changer?
I could it's I think it's basically like they give you a pat on the back for not selling coins is what it is.
Oh,
So
okay. Are
once
you
I
like
think
a
you have
verified FIFA content creator or something like that? That EA
dude,
just acknowledges
I
you?
don't know because they only just started sending me stuff like a month or two ago, and I messed that up completely because wasn't supposed to show anybody anything for the next like 15 days, but that's not on me for them sending me a package and me not being able to show it, you know. So I brought it out on stream, and I'm like, guys, here it is. I was calling my stream a bunch of losers, saying that they're not EA game changers, and I am.
Uh-huh.
Just kind of like rile everybody up, and I brought out this thing, and I'm like, hey, like you know, I was reading the paper, which no one ever reads the paper. I'm like, they're like, we've given you this jersey. Make sure to release it on the 16th of this month. And I'm like looking down at the date and I was 10 days early and I was like, oh God. So don't know if I'll ever get sent anything ever again. But I think it just, I don't know. It's you're a FIFA creator. They recognize that, you know, you're doing stuff. And then you can get invited to the capture events, which I guess the one that I've been to is in Germany. And then we did one in Miami as well. Um, but I think anybody can apply for it. I think literally
Oh,
anybody
okay.
can. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a thing online for it, but um, it's just if you've ever sold coins or anything, I think you can get in trouble. Or if you've ever sold coins, I don't think they let you in now, is what it
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
You a coin
Um,
guy?
I'm not.
Okay,
I'm a
good. Yeah.
RTG guy that doesn't pay money on the
That's
game.
perfect then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
grind.
That's the way to do it, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. There's people that kind of talk to me about it too, though, where they refuse to be an EA game changer because
Okay.
they are on deals for, you know, 2 or 3 thousand bucks a month to sell coins with like certain websites. And they're
Oh, I
like,
see.
dude,
Yeah.
would you rather go to one event a year or one event every 2 years, or would you rather have an extra 2,000 bucks a month? And I'm like, when you put it that way, it's kind of hard to not, you know, agree with them in a sense.
Right. So for those events, are those expenses covered by
Yeah,
EA? Oh, they
all of
are.
them would be. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing. They haven't done a capture event since Germany a few years ago. It had to have been before the pandemic. Um, maybe they did one this past year, but I was on Facebook, so I don't think I got the invite to it. But they were gonna do another one in England as well, but like the weekend we were all supposed to go, the Queen died. So
Oh, okay.
they're like, oh, this is, you know, we're not allowed to do this anymore. I'm like, okay. So
Mm-hmm.
they usually just send you the game a week early if there's not a capture event. So you can start streaming it and posting videos before everybody else does. So it just kind of gives you that head start, is what it would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It must have been pretty cool, you know, to like go to all these events and meet all these cool people, other content creators like yourself. I mean, did you ever imagine that Twitch would just lead you to all this?
Never. I remember because the whole thing with like streaming, I guess, is I started doing it in college and I told myself if I wasn't partnered by the end of it, that I'm done. Like I'm out. Like I'll just go get a real job because the whole thing is I needed to graduate and get that all finished. So
Yeah.
um, we ended up getting partnered like a month left of school. And I went home and I asked my mom, like, yo, is it cool if I have 6 months just to see if I can do this for a living? Like just and I got on every single night. I think my record, I think, was like 30 something days in a row that we streamed.
Mm-hmm.
And I went on from 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. every single day. I just streamed for 12 hours throughout the night. And I remember waking up every morning and talking to my mom about it. I'm like, Mom, we got like 20 new followers last night. I'm like, this is so crazy. I'm like, imagine if this ever happens, this ever happens. And um, I think regardless, like obviously I know my channel isn't where it used to be, but I think I've almost accomplished like everything and got to do everything I ever wanted from streaming. So so yeah, no, I never thought any of this would ever happen. I never thought that I'd have, you know, Bates and 87 come in my chat and call me an asshole whenever he wants to, you know. But yeah, no, it's cool, especially when you watch these people online for so long and then you can like call them friends after a few years. I think it's
Yeah,
sweet.
for sure. Yeah. So you're still doing this full time, right?
Yeah.
content
No, we're
creating.
still
Got
doing
it.
it full time. Yeah, I don't know. In college, I did the whole thing where I had an internship for 10 weeks and then tried to balance it on top of it. And I have a lot of respect to people that, including yourself, that can do both at the exact same time because it's really hard to. I think, especially at the beginning when you don't see results right away. And I'm sure you have pressure from friends and family that are like, hey, like, what the hell are you doing? Like this is such a waste of time. Come hang out, like all that. But so I got a lot of respect for people that do it while working, maybe while maintaining all their friendships or relationship, whatever it is, and then being able to make the switch eventually.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what tip would you give to a lot of smaller streamers? Because obviously, there's so many people out there that probably want to be in the position you are, and
Yeah.
so like, what advice would you give if they ever want to, make it to that point?
The one thing I say on the stream all the time is the first thing I guess I say is I said, don't throw away your life for this. Is like, you
Mm.
should never throw away your life for it. Um, there's videos on the internet that I've seen where people are like, I lost my girlfriend, I lost my job, I lost this, I lost, all my friends because all I wanted to do was stream and stream and stream every day because I want to make it. Um, I think what you said earlier is almost like the best advice you could probably give somebody is if you're gonna play the video game, why not just stream? I'd say, especially at the very beginning, just don't even go on with any expectations except for the fact that you were gonna play the video game anyway. You can obviously have a schedule and be consistent with the hours that you do stream at and everything, but um, I think just some of the biggest advice I could give now, and I'm kind of taking it myself now because I never really saw the value in it before, dude. I think TikTok and all these short form things that won't ruin your life in terms of how much time you have to commit to it. I think people blow up off of that versus, more of a chance of blowing off of that versus sitting on Twitch for like 8 hours a day. If you went and dedicated 8 hours a day to making really, really well done TikToks and everything, way more people are going to end up seeing them. And then I think you obviously have to bring them over to Twitch eventually afterwards, is what I would
Mhm.
say.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Okay. Um, do you have any other special projects that you're working on currently?
just the podcast, but we talked about it a little bit before we started.
Yeah.
My co-host, his equipment was crap for a while. So yeah, we're doing that right now. We're doing like a golf channel now too, just for fun because we all golf and we thought it'd be good. But we had something happen last week, which I've talked about in the live stream, but we left all of our equipment in the back of one of the carts at one of the golf courses last week. And we were filming with like one of their pros. I don't want to name drop the golf course, but we were filming with one of their pros.
Mhm.
Do you golf? I'm assuming you golf, yeah?
I don't. I don't
Okay,
golf. Yeah.
Okay, so the way that golf works is when you're done golfing, the cart kids come up to you and they're like, "Hey," they're like, "Hey, do you need your clubs cleaned?" And you always just say, "No, I'm not making some kid clean my clubs. I couldn't care less." And then they clean out the cart completely. So we left probably like $1,500 worth of equipment in a bag in the back of the cart, and there is no way in hell that one of these cart kids didn't see it. And we went into the bar to go have a drink. We went home. We realized we didn't have the bag. And it was already like 9:30 at night. So we're like, all right, cool. We'll just call tomorrow. It's going to be fine. Like, this is a nice golf course. And we call and they're like, no, we haven't seen it. I'm like, you guys are so full of shit, man. So I think one of the cart kids nabbed all of our equipment. So we've
Mm.
kind of had to put that on hold. It was like four
Okay.
microphones and a camera and everything. But yeah, whenever we get that back, we're going to try to continue the golf stuff up again. But that's the current situation that we're in, which does suck. But it's whatever.
Jeez. I mean, aren't you able to like, I don't know, like, aren't you? I'm sure you guys are like calling in, making sure like, because how can you lose track of that? How can
And I
you lose?
completely agree.
Yeah, of that
No, I know.
employee.
So
It's so easy. Yeah.
we called the next day and they said they hadn't seen it. And we're like, like that's a little fishy. It was a kid which once again, I'm sure it was like some 18-year-old kid on a Friday night that's working, at a golf course, probably not making great money, that saw the equipment and was like, oh, jackpot. I'm going to go sell all this stuff now and, have a bit more extra money. So we called, and we went in the next day as well. And we said, hey, there's cameras here, there's cameras here, there's cameras here. Can we see the footage? and this would answer a lot of questions. Maybe some kid didn't steal it and they sent out the cart with another group the next day, and maybe someone there stole it. You never know. It's just really hard for me to believe that the cart kid would miss it twice, because they don't miss anything in those
Yeah.
carts at all. But yeah, no, so the get up there and one guy's like, oh, there's only one person that has access to the cameras. And I'm like, okay, like, well, can we get this guy? I wasn't being a dick or anything. I'm like, is there any way we can get him, man? Like, it's over
Yeah.
$1,000 stuff in there. I just don't want to lose it. And he's like, no, it's our manager, but I can give you his email. And I'm like, what, do you not have a phone number for him? I'm like, are you like, what do you mean give me an email, man? Like, just give me the guy's phone number. He's like, no, I don't have a phone number written down here for you. I'm like, buddy, he's your manager. I didn't say it to him in my head. I'm like, dude, it's your manager. How do you not have his phone number? Like, come on, like written on the work computer. But emailed him. He's like, oh, hey, we don't have cameras next to the cart bay. I'm like, okay, well, the good news is we went into your bar afterwards. So maybe we left it in there, and never replied. Hit him up again, never replied again. So it felt like one of those things where they probably knew one of their kids stole it, and they were just trying to kind of protect the whole situation and make it not be known that this golf course had stolen from somebody, so they didn't get like a bad rap or something too. So it kind of felt like.
I see. I wonder if he could file like a police report.
That's what they said that I should do. I felt like such a Karen if I went to go file a police report on it, when we were the idiots that left it in the back of the cart, and I accept that as well. And I'm sure they would say one of those, I don't know how it really works with all those cameras, but I'm sure they'd say, oh, the footage expires after 48 hours or something, where it'd be too late to go check it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of felt like a lost cause, unfortunately, but I've been checking all the offer ups and, the pay, or the, whatever it is, Craigslist and all that stuff, to see if this little weasel goes on to post it. Because apparently it's a felony. If it's enough money of stolen goods and you can catch them online selling your stuff, it's a felony. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It is what it is at this point. What about you? Aside from the podcast,
Yeah.
other projects going on?
No, not really. I mean, I'm just doing the podcast, just streaming, and just working a lot. Pretty much.
How many different jobs do you say you have?
So I mean, technically I have like 4 different positions, but I'm really working like 3 of those jobs. They're all sales jobs.
Okay.
2 of them are just like energy efficient. I work with energy companies, so I sell like energy efficient services to like homeowners and stuff. And then I also do real estate. So
do you like the real estate stuff, man? I feel like so many people I know are in real estate now, and they all seem to love it.
Well, I don't invest too much time into it. I am helping a couple clients right now. So I am in process of like helping them out with some leases, but I've been more focused on my sales job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'll say the other question I wanted to ask you, who's your dream collab in the FIFA space?
Jeez. Buckarmy?
No, okay, no. Who is it, man? Who's your dream collab on FIFA, and who's your dream podcast guest?
That's a good question. I mean, there's so many. Like, I would like to just branch off and do like a podcast not about FIFA, and just have like a lot of like cool guests.
Yeah.
Jeez, there's so many. I mean, FIFA wise, I really like Run the Foot Market.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah, I would like to have him. In terms of anybody else, geez, I would like to be on the Joe Rogan Experience.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Do you listen to his podcast?
I don't listen like full on to his podcast, but I see all of his clips. Like his clips are all over my feed. Him and Theo Vaughn are like the 2 that are all over my YouTube every single day. So that'd be pretty damn cool. How long ago did he even start doing podcasting? Because I listened to like a few podcasts, just like one-offs. If I really, really liked the guests that they had or something like that. Has to been doing it forever though, yeah?
He's had over like 2,000 episodes. So
oh my God.
It has to be over 10 years that he's been doing it.
Because how many does he pump out a week?
Maybe once or twice a week.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's insane.
I don't listen to all of them because it's like I don't have the time, but I just
Yeah.
listen to the guests that I really like.
No, that makes sense. I like the Pardon My Take guys are pretty good as well.
Pardon my
I don't know if
take.
you
Okay.
for like the Barstool guys, they're pretty
Oh,
damn
okay.
funny too.
Yeah.
They're all like sports talk basically, and they have some of the dumbest opinions in the entire world on it, but I think
Mm-hmm.
it's just has to be to kind of rile people up. The other day they had one where it was one of the funniest things I've heard in a podcast. They were talking about how do you watch like NFL football and stuff?
Not too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
There so what happened was they had new quarterback from Alabama or whatever his name is, Bryce Young, how they're all convinced that he's only like 5'5" and he's not
Mm-hmm.
6 feet like everything says.
Uh-huh.
One of them came on and they said that that quarterback should only be measured to their eyes because everything else doesn't really matter. Which is a kind of a fair point. It's a pretty dumb point, but
Mm-hmm.
it is kind of a fair point. And they were saying like Peyton Manning would lose like 4 inches off his height. He had a massive forehead and everything too. So no, I was laughing pretty hard at that one, but every podcast is so unbelievably different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watch a lot of podcasts and I enjoy listening to all sorts. And usually it depends on like the guests that they have or like the subject. And I just
Yeah.
like listening to conversations, like other people's stories. That's a lot of my like content intake usually these
Yeah.
days. Yeah.
No, I love it too. You end up hearing things because you already have, I guess, your favorite people on the internet or your favorite people on TV. And then I think by the end of a podcast, you end up almost like feeling more connected or like love them even more than you originally had, which is super cool.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, there's like, growing up, especially for me, I've really enjoyed sports. So I like listening like all these people that I watched in the past, now that they're much older, you see them on podcasts and then sharing their journey about like, their sports career or, a specific moment in their career. Like when they share about it, it's like, oh, it's pretty interesting. Like seeing them tell their story and adding context to what actually happened at that time.
Yeah, because it's so much more usually than you would have ever expected to, which
Yeah.
is super cool. Yeah, I was gonna say the one that I find myself listening to the most right now is Rob Deerdeck from like how he had like Fantasy Factory and Robin Big and all those.
Yes. Hmm.
He has a podcast now where he gives like all his life advice on how he's made his life so successful and it's kind of one of those weird ones. He refuses to have I don't think he ever really has guests on at all on it.
Hmm.
But it's like 25 minutes every week, I think, where he just comes on and he talks about how he changed this part of his life, did this part of his life, and a lot of it kind of boils down to he stopped drinking, which I can't necessarily relate to that part just yet, but eventually I think we'll get to that point. But
Hmm.
no, I agree. Favorite people growing up, it's really really cool to hear their stories and everything they have to say.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the I guess the inspiration of me starting my own because I like talking to people, I like hearing their stories and maybe I can learn something from my guests, you know. And for
No,
me,
yeah,
I
I
would like to
agree.
keep on doing it. It'll be amazing if at some point, I can make more money off of it or make it a career, but in the meantime, I'm just enjoying it.
No, I agree. I think being able to just be able to talk to people and hear about their life, especially if you're already interested in the person anyway, would be the coolest thing in the entire world to be like a full-time podcaster. It'd be so sweet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, but it seems like these days, like podcasts are like that field feels like so saturated. Like everybody's doing it. So it's like, I wonder if it's hard for smaller like podcasters to really grow.
It seems like you almost have to have a huge following somewhere else first before
Right.
you even start it up. But even then, some of the people that have these huge followings that start up podcasts, they're not necessarily the greatest, but people will still listen just because they already have a crazy big fan base anyway. So yeah, I think it definitely would be tough. I think even for us, we find it like super, super tough, I guess, to get off the ground. But that's where I think all those clips and everything, where if you chop things up properly, which once again we could do so much better at as well on ours. But I think that's where I think a lot of people, I guess, find traction from would be that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, about your podcast, 40 Before Noon, like, what was the inspiration behind that? I mean, how long have you guys been doing it?
We did it. Well, I guess the whole inspiration was we decided that we were gonna watch college football one morning, and it was like 9:30 in the morning, and we woke up and we just cracked 40s and went
Hmm.
downstairs and just started drinking and watching the game. So I said to the kid, I'm like, yo, I'm like, dude, 40 before noon kind of sounds like an awesome name for a podcast, you know? And that's kind of the whole inspiration for it. But the person that I run it with was one of my first viewers that ever came into my live stream probably like 7 years ago. And
Mm.
he hit me up and he's like, dude, he goes, I'll do everything. Like I'll edit, whatever. I'm like, we should do this together. I'm like, all right, man, like sounds good. But yeah, the whole point of it for us was because we kind of talked about it beforehand as well, where we don't really talk about FIFA or anything unless they bring it up basically. But um, it's to find out more about people's lives that we see on the screen every single day that we'd never know. So it's basically it. We've been doing it. We did it for, I don't know. We've been on and off with it. So I don't even want to say we've been doing it for like a year and a half because there's been a lot of weeks that have been missed with it. But yeah, no, it's just been fun. It's I guess just one of those passion project things where if we can get an awesome guest on, then we just all hop on and we have a few drinks and we talk and that's about that.
Hmm. Yeah, I listened to the one with Nick run the foot market. That was pretty interesting. It was a good one.
I think I appreciate that. I think that's like the first podcast he ever went on too. So that was it was cool for us just to have him on. And I've known Nick for such a long time. Like I knew Nick when I had more subscribers on YouTuber than Nick did. So it was
Mm.
like I've
Hmm.
known this kid forever now at this point, and it's really cool to see how much he's progressed and he's become, I'd say he's number one in the FIFA category now on the website
Yeah.
for Twitch. He has to be.
Hmm.
And he's just a hardworking kid. He obviously he's smart as all hell on top of it. Like where I think he graduated from Columbia, like so, crazy. So no, he's a good kid, man. You'd be an awesome collab if you got him on here.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe one day we could get him on.
It'd be sweet.
Do you have you had a guest that you've like really looked forward to? Like who's your biggest guest or one that you liked?
I like because all these guys that I brought on have been friends basically, except
Okay.
for the only one I hadn't met. Well, I guess there's two that I hadn't met, but there was an MTV. Do you watch MTV at all?
I used to.
So
Not
do you know the show
anymore.
that do you know the show The Challenge? Like that's on there's like MTV with The Challenge, there's like Road Rules Challenge or whatever.
Yeah, they
It's like
used to have what was it, Real World?
they used
Or
to have all
back
the
in the
real
day?
world people
Yeah,
on there.
like
Yeah.
yeah, the reality shows.
Yeah, where they just beat the crap out of each other on this show.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's the whole premise of this one show where they bring on people from like Survivor, Big Brother, you name it, all these new shows now, and they
Hmm.
put them in one house and they go through like crazy physical challenges, and a lot of it's just they're just all beating the crap out of each other for a little bit more relevancy on the internet. And it's unbelievable television. But we had the guy on that I thought was the funniest guy like ever on that show, and he agreed to come on our podcast. So that was one that his name is Devin Walker. He was really awesome. I
Hmm.
think the one that I was the most excited about was Waybeck when he came on because I don't think he does podcasts that often either.
Yeah.
And I think he's the funniest guy in the entire world. I think he's just a giant goofball. Um, so he was probably, I guess, him and probably Nick Run the Foot Market were my two like most excited about guys on there.
Got it. And who's your dream guest?
On ours,
Yeah.
I don't know. We like in terms of FIFA, I guess we can say in terms of FIFA.
FIFA and
I think,
non-FIFA.
yeah, I God, I don't even know. I think dream guest right now, but I think it will happen. It would be Pie Face. I think because me and
Okay.
Pie have known each other forever too,
Hmm.
and something about his accent, no matter what he says, I just laugh, and it's. I think I'd probably have to mute my mic for the majority of that podcast just because he is so damn funny. I think he'd be the number one, and then if anybody outside of it, if we could ever get like Rob Deerdeck on, I think that'd be the coolest thing in the entire world. So
Hmm.
I think that'd be my guy outside of it.
Hmm. Yeah, those are some good guests.
Yeah, no, it'd be funny. Pie Face is so good. Do you have a favorite FIFA streamer? Like, is there someone that got you into FIFA?
No, because when I got into it, I wasn't watching anybody.
You were just playing the game for the hell of it.
I was playing the game and then like I just, you get connected with like other smaller streamers too. People rate each other and then that's how
Yeah.
you get to know people. I mean, some of the early one was like probably Run the Foot Market,
Okay.
Boris Legend. Those are like the early ones that I started watching.
They're good guys.
Yeah.
Boris is so funny. I go into his stream and they're playing like classical music or something in there, and I'm like, "What are we like, Boris? What are we doing here, man?" You know. But I got the chance to. I met him last year as well too at that Denmark event, and he was
Okay.
super, super, super nice. He was a good guy.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, no, he's good. He's obviously unbelievable at the video game too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, I guess for you, I mean, what are like your goals like in terms of with content creating? I know you got the podcast, you still putting up content on YouTube and streaming.
Goal for me is to not have to go get a real job. This is just
Okay.
to ride this as long as I possibly can. Just because
Uh-huh.
I love it. I truly truly love it, and I love the fact that I get to hop on, just hang out with friends, and play video games every day is the coolest thing. Uh, I think one of the long term goals I think would be to get my YouTube channel, I guess, like kind of moving again. And for the longest time, I haven't really figured out what I want to do on YouTube. I started doing commentary stuff on there, which I enjoyed, but a lot of it felt like every time I made one of those videos, someone was going to hate me at the end of it. Cause I
Mhm.
think a lot of commentary just kind of take a crap on people. You just, I don't know, you take the piss out of people the entire time. Um, but yeah, it's a lot hardest thing for me is kind of figuring out what I would want to do and what would keep me interested. Cause hate posting packs. Like I can't be bothered to film a 10-minute pack video and post it anymore. But now I think I've kind of figured it out where little challenges and just kind of have fun and be creative with it and
Yeah.
just be consistent. I think YouTube would be the main thing, and hopefully it just trickles everywhere else, like in terms of Twitch viewers and everything too. But
Yeah.
yeah, long-term goal is that I never have to log back into my LinkedIn. That's my
Okay.
I don't know the password for it, and the day that I have to go searching for it or get the comfort, whatever
Mm.
it is, the verification email or something, that's I think that would be that's the goal is never have to have that day, I guess.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. There's El Papito in the chat. He's asking our thoughts on EA Sports FC, the new game. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you know anything about it?
I had the call with the because once again we're the EA game changer thing. We got the call with Sheldon from EA, and he basically told me, he goes, it's just gonna be this. He's like, it's the same thing. He goes, nothing really changes with it at all. It's just like the whole like title change of it. So I think they're almost saying that in a way where they don't want people freaking out thinking it's gonna be, anything different or anything worse or whatever. I think a lot of what we've seen over the last few years will probably just maintain going forward.
Yeah.
But I do hope they add girls to the game. I don't know if you've seen that whole thing or what your opinion is on it. Dude, I'll throw Alex Morgan up top against, whoever it is, like a Smalling or someone in the back line. I couldn't care. And I think that takes a lot of the seriousness out of the game too, and people can probably have a lot more fun with it going forward. That's my opinion at least.
Oh, are they trying to add that to Ultimate Team?
That's like the rumors I swear I've seen is that you could be able to pack girls and guys. Which yeah,
Hmm.
I think it'd be
Interesting.
funny. I'm sure people are going to complain and be like, "Oh, well, how's Alex Morgan in 92 and Mbappe's in 89?" And be like, "Dude, like, who cares, man? Just use Alex Morgan." Then they say they kick the ball the exact same way, dude. I couldn't care less.
Yeah, imagine
Yeah,
Alex Morgan as the most meta card in FUT
I'm
EAFC.
here for it, bro. It'd be fun. I think about all the content that could happen too. Like, imagine you lose for 14 wins and Alex Morgan's gritting on you. I think it'd be hilarious
Well, they already implemented it in pro clubs like
because you can
it's
have girls in there,
co-ed.
can't you? Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
co-ed.
yeah.
And usually the guys like being the girl avatars in the game.
Totally. Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
agree.
I don't know why, but they
What
just
did we
do.
say? There's because I forgot about that. There was one guy on our stream that used to play as one of the girl characters, and
Hmm.
someone typed in his name's Mars Bars, and someone typed in the chat and said Mars plays as a woman because it's the only woman that won't ever leave him. Like it was one of those things too, where they're just there talking crap. It's
Uh-huh.
free ammo at the end of the day,
Hmm.
so yeah, no, I'd be all for it.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I would mind. I'll just, yeah, I'll play anyway.
That's what I think too.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty cool.
Is FIFA releasing their own game? Do you know about that?
I thought I've heard like little rumors. I thought there was other games going against each other. Is that like the big thing is where it's two games are supposed to compete or something?
I mean, I heard of that. I don't know how much of that is true.
It would make sense, but at the same time, I feel like one game is going to be like Pez almost, where one is just like crap, and the other one would be, I guess, what we've all been used to for the last, God knows how many years now.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you look forward to EAFC?
I look forward to people caring about the game again. I think that's all I truly care about. It's going to be the same thing. I don't know. I think at the end of the day, the game is what you make it. And I think a lot of people go on and they can have a whole lot of fun. I think there's a lot of people that go on and expect EA to come out with like 75 different things a day. Um, and you see all these other sports video games like Madden and NBA 2K, and they come out with nothing ever. And people are like,
Mm,
dude, you think FIFA sucks? They're like, come play this for a week. And they're like, it's
mm,
awful. Like
yeah.
there's in Madden, there's like 4 plays that everybody uses. They've been broken the entire year and they won't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think the FIFA community is what's the word I'm looking for? I say they're very demanding when they don't necessarily understand how good we actually do have it compared to other games.
Mm, I see.
That'd be my opinion. What about you? Are you excited for it?
Ah, I mean,
Yeah.
no, not really. I mean, I'll play it. I'll get it.
Yeah.
And like everybody else, I'll just, grind for the game and play weekend league.
Just the
Well,
same old. That's how
it's the
I kind
same
of
old
look at it
thing.
now.
It's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's just, I guess I kind of see it as work, but not really. I don't know. I
It's
don't know
still
how to
video
explain.
games.
I don't
Yeah.
get overly excited for it. Yeah.
I mean, if I pack something really good, I'll be happy. But now, like, even if I post a clip and we pack something really good, someone's like, "Oh, crap reaction! Like, why aren't you reacting to it? Like, so lame." I'm like, dude, it's July 6th. Who cares, man? I'm like, this crap's over in 60 days, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's one of those things where you can get happy about the game, but I think when you've been doing it for a few years, it does kind of feel like the same old thing after a while. It's just
Yeah.
nice when more people actually care about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is
I was
FIFA's Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, was there another game that you were gonna like? Were you in between games that you were gonna stream when you first started your career? This
I wasn't. No. FIFA
strictly
was
FIFA.
Yeah, it was strictly FIFA.
Okay, I
Yeah,
was gonna.
I just stuck with it over the years.
It's yeah, it's a tough grind. It is, man. Because I always thought how much easier it might be if you started off in a first person shooter game or something like that. And then you
Mhm.
could obviously bounce around games a lot easier, where it feels like the transition from FIFA to anything else is like a big jump if you ever wanted to move games.
I see. Got it. I've also heard from like other streamers, other people like maybe like starting off in like one game and just sticking with it, the growth would be better as opposed to
Totally
being
is,
like a
yeah.
variety streamer.
I agree. I was mainly saying, I guess down the road
Yeah,
when you have like enough viewers, you could jump from maybe like a Fortnite to a Call of Duty and maintain a lot of the same people.
right,
Where it feels like FIFA, you can go to Fall Guys or Only Up, and that's about it, is what it seems like.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have played other games in the past like on stream. Um, but mainly I've just stuck with FIFA.
No, I feel that.
I feel like that's the only game I'm like half decent at, so I might as well.
That makes a difference too. Yeah. When you're on there, you want to be doing well for sure.
Yeah, because I feel like any other game, I'm just not that good. I'm not really a gamer like that.
If you get 14 wins in the weekend league, man, I consider you a gamer. That's what I'll say.
Oh yeah, except in
Yeah.
FIFA, but anything else, like, nah, I'm
As long
trash.
as long as you got one, man, screw it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been an hour. I think this would be a good time to end it. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say to the viewers?
No, dude,
And
thanks for having me on, man. It's kind of weird being on the other side. I haven't done this in a really, really long time where I wasn't the one, hosting or asking the questions or anything. So I really enjoyed it, dude. And obviously, thanks for inviting me.
yeah, my pleasure. Thank you so much for coming through. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I know you're one of the bigger guests, so for you to come on, it really is an honor.
No, bro, seriously, thank you for having me, man. Whenever you need me in the future, let me know.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll definitely keep the connection. And for everybody else in the chat, thank you guys so much for coming through. Um, Buck, if you could stay for a little bit after the live stream, that'd be great. And